Welcome back to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. I've been in the mortgage business for 35 years. I have closed well over 10,000 transactions. I have every loan program that you could ever possibly need, and some you've probably never even heard of. I have a friend of mine and a great real estate agent joining me today. Her name is Jessica Wicker with EXP. She has been working with lots of my buyers and has helped them out immensely. And she had a question for me. What was your question, Jessica?
Yes. So I had a buyer who, I'm getting a little closer.
Yep.
Who owns a home now, but wants to buy a second home. So being that she has a mortgage on her current home, how does that affect our ability to get the second one? Can she rent it to offset it?
Absolutely. So there's a couple of ways that can happen, Jessica. If you currently own a home right now, and matter of fact, if you currently own a home and you've got a really attractive interest rate, wouldn't it be nice to be able to keep that home as a rental property? Wouldn't that be a nice way to set up your retirement?
Yes.
So that's why I teach my Leapfrog class, so that we can help more people understand how they too can establish generational wealth with real estate. So here's how that works. If you own a current home right now and you want to buy another home and you won't qualify for 2 mortgage payments, if you rent that current home, I can offset the mortgage payment by the new rent. So even though the rent may be more than your mortgage payment, you can only wash the payment unless you have previous landlord experience and you can show it on a tax return. So for instance, if you are moving out of your home, but you had another home that you rented out, I can show an underwriter that you've got rental experience, and then we can show the profits from that. But you can never use more than 75% of rent that you receive when qualifying for a mortgage, unless it's shown on your last year's tax return. Now, that gets a little complicated for our listeners out there to understand. The point is that we can offset your current mortgage payment by a lease agreement on your current home. No problem at all. And that allows you to go in and purchase your next home. And I encourage people to do that. Matter of fact, I think you should be doing it. You should do it 5 times.
Do you have to have a lease on it before you can qualify?
Not necessarily, no. Matter of fact, we can do what's called a rent multiplier and determine what the rent would be on that property. You don't even have to have a lease in place. So yes, there are ways. You could buy a home as an investment property. And as an investment property, you might need the rental income from that, but you haven't purchased it yet. So how can you have a tenant sign a lease agreement on a house you haven't even bought yet, right? That would be a little tricky unless you were inheriting the tenant. So we use a gross rent multiplier. We have the appraiser goes out to the property. They tell us what the average rents would be for that property, and we can use that as rental income. And we can help more and more people qualify for mortgages. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. I'm the Loner Ranger. You can reach me right now at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or you can apply online right now at WeBringYouHome.com. I promised I was going to talk a little bit about solar panels. I only have a minute left in the show, so I want to make it quick. I have a client right now, Jessica. They are trying to sell their home. They've already burned through 2 buyers that were qualified to buy the home, but the solar panel company would not let the people assume the loan because they didn't qualify. They qualified for a $500,000 mortgage, but they wouldn't qualify for a $60,000 UCC lien that the solar panel company has get on the property. So if you are considering putting solar panels on your property, I will tell you, I'm not crazy about it. I like what it does for the environment. Don't all you tree huggers start calling me up, telling me, you're against the environment. It's not my point. It puts a UCC lien against your property, and people, you might have trouble refinancing it, and you might have trouble selling it. I just had a client had 2 contracts on the house. Neither one of them closed because the buyer didn't qualify. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage, 407-706-3313 or webringyouhome.com. Thank you, Jessica, for joining me today on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend.